Tara. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I want to say to everybody that this is Tara West from Tara West Fashions, and she's joining me today because we have a little bit of a surprise. We are doing a podcast together about women that have resilience, and I actually found Tara had a very interesting story. Tara, do you just want to share with your listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, sure. I'm a fashion stylist, and for those of you who don't really know what that is I shop for people. I typically go through their closets and style them and shop for them. And I'm also a fashion influencer on social media, which has definitely helped with my business. As you know, social media is everything. And so I also have a blog on tarawestfashion.com, and you should check it out.
So this topic that I've chosen is women of resilience and why we have to demonstrate to our young people today that we need emotional skills and we need coping mechanisms. And I know that you've had a very rough beginning, I think, and you had your struggles. It was tumultuous. And you had to make choices. And you made a choice, and I think it was at 16. Mm-hmm. You had something going on in your psyche that was telling you that you had to go. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what that feeling was that made you just switch?
Yes. So there was a lot before that. And so, for another time, because I know we're limited on time a little bit, but there was a lot before that. And when I was in this situation, when I was 16, I had to make a decision. And I said to myself, Tara, you have two choices in life. You can either stay in this situation and fail miserably or find a way out and do something with yourself. And I knew that I had to leave.
Yeah.
Because I was only 16, but I had been through so much, and I knew that I wanted so much more out of life, and that it wasn't fair. Just because I was born into this situation didn't mean that I was going to stay in it. And that was a really hard decision, except for at that moment in time, I was ready to make that choice.
So you came to it almost I want to say physically and emotionally at the same time.
Yes. I think I knew I didn't deserve to be treated a certain way.
Yeah.
And even though it was my parents, it didn't matter, because at that moment in time, you have to take care of yourself. But I was lucky as I had a couple people in my life who always cared enough about me that would tell me, you're important. Mm-hmm. What you do is important. You matter. And that resonated with me.
So someone was your landing mat.
Yeah.
Someone gave you security. Someone gave you a place to feel safe, to feel valued. And so many children today, from the research that I'm doing and the physicians that I'm speaking to, are saying that parents are not spending time with their children, even though they're in the same household. They're not spending the time together to build that. And the interesting part is that listeners and viewers, Tara actually has her degree in psychology, which she knows the value of that bond of security and attachment, which the people that I'm interviewing today are saying is almost 50% of kids don't have it by the age of 8. I think we're in for it in a huge medical crisis in 5 years.
Yes. I mean, when I was a marriage and family therapist for a very long time, and a lot of what I would have to do was to bring the parents in to make the family together, especially because I did see a lot of suicidal kids.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with that type of situation, it's scary. It is really scary, and it's very hard for parents to actually acknowledge what's going on because it's scary, and it's, it's not something that you expect. But what I would do is really make them lean in and be a part of it, because that's a family situation. Yeah. Although the child's suffering, the family needs to be involved. And so family involvement is so important. And I can attest to the fact that when you don't have that, you don't really have a lot of self-worth. And I struggled with self-worth, as you can imagine, for a very long time. Mm. And I really worked on that that has been something that I worked on a lot, but I wasn't even able to acknowledge that until I was probably like 30 years old, to be honest.
It's funny how it comes back to 30s. Why is, like, there's a trend in when I'm meeting and talking with people, it seems to be we gain some type of change in our psychology where we're like, I matter, and I respect my body, I respect how I'm treated, and I don't need to be treated like that. Whereas today's children only want the gratification and confirmation from their peers. 50% of children, when surveyed by, I think it was in Psychology Today, I saw it, and I don't quote me, but I think that's where I read it from, feel they are more close to their friends, even though they don't do things with their friends. They're only on Snapchat with their friends, and they value their friends more than their parents.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Right?
Very interesting.
Right, and we're going to get more into the questions later, but for right now, I just want all of our viewers to know that we are going to post it on February 11th, and we are going to go into a little bit more of your stages and a little bit more of your struggles and how you ended up where you are today.
I'm looking forward to it. I think that, a lot of what you're talking about and what I do currently really match well because, as I said, I'm an influencer on social media and, I do have kids. And so, what is that? Like, how do you balance that? And how do my kids understand that because I do this, is it okay for them to do it? And how should they do it?
Yeah, that's totally for another conversation. That's a long discussion.
No, I know.
We need more of this coffee right here.
Well, but it is because of what I'm doing now is that comes up a lot, obviously,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And we'll maybe do another pop-up and then we'll have the podcast ready February 11th.
Sounds good. Thank you.